Hello, I'm the Animation Critic. The name says it all. Guys, you are in for a treat. For today we are going to play a game. A game that combines my favorite genre of film with my favorite beverage. As you can probably tell from my t-shirt, I'm of course referring to the Disney knockoff Coke drinking game. This is the game where I take a look at a film widely considered to be a cheap Disney knockoff and take a drink of Coke for every element commonly found in a Disney film that it uses. With that said, quest for Camelot. What happened to you, Warner Brothers? You were the studio that made a mark in the animation industry with Looney Tunes, and even later, you would make such classics as Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, and such cult films as The Iron Giant and Batman Mask the Phantasm. In other words, you were successful by doing the exact opposite of what Disney was doing. So what happened here? First pulling the plug on The Thief and the Cobbler because it was too un-Disney-like, and now this? Just how many hypocrisy pills have you been taking? But still, does Quest for Camelot at least try to be a halfway decent film? Let's find out. So our movie begins with one of the Knights of the Round Table, Sir Lionel, and his daughter Kayleigh. After he tells his daughter about the legend of King Arthur's sword Excalibur, Lionel sets out to join the other knights in Camelot. Oh, and take your first drink if your main protagonist is a girl who wishes for something other than the standards that society has given her.
I love you.
One day, I will be a knight, like Father.
Congratulations, movie. We're not even 5 minutes in and you're already making us take a drink. Seconds later, we get to take yet another drink for an opening musical that sets the stage for the rest of the film, and yet another drink for opening credits appearing during the song.
Liberty, justice, trust,
Pickle!
peace, honor,
Obscurity!
goodness, strength, valor.
God, this is taking forever! Alright guys, here's a biggie. Take one drink if your main villain is easily identifiable from the other characters, another drink if his or her voice actor gives an over-the-top performance, and another if his main goal is to take over a specified area with no other motives except being evil.
I need more than everyone. I wouldn't have supported you all these years if I thought you were running a charity.
The king has decided.
Then it's time for the new king. And I vote for me.
So, in case you're wondering, Ruber, played by Gary Oldman, goes mad and attempts to take control from Arthur, played by Pierce Brosnan. He is stopped by his sword Excalibur, fortunately, but the attack ends up costing Kayleigh's father her life. Yeah, sad. But on the bright side, we get to take a drink for untimely death of the parent. Ooh. Still, too bad it wasn't the mother, because then we could take a drink for absence of mother.
If you were with me now,
Oh, remember when we got to take our first drink for a heroine who wanted a life outside the norm for her time? Well, take another drink if she sings about it.
and I will fly on my father's wings to places I have.
Thank you, movie. You have yet to disappoint me. So, after that little musical number, we cut to the knights again. What are they talking about, you may ask?
Camelot has prospered beyond our greatest dreams.
So in case you're wondering, a griffin has just stolen Excalibur, but ends up flying over a magic forest, I guess, and ends up dropping Excalibur in it. Word reaches the rest of the kingdom of Excalibur's theft, including Kayleigh, who hopes to find Excalibur and become a professional knight herself. But just then, Ruber breaks into her home and forces Kaylee's mom to help him take over Camelot. In song.
Years from now, no one will bother to recall your good King Arthur, because all of this will be mine!
Yay! An over-the-top villain song, one of my favorites.
Mine. I have a plan. It includes you. You, Giuliano, lead me.
Okay, now, this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but I like this song. Okay, before you start booing at me, let me explain. Yeah, I'll admit, Gary Oldman isn't the world's best singer, though he beats Justin Bieber any day. But that's kinda why I like the song. He's just so over the top and hammy, I can't help but laugh at him. In other words, it's like the Star Wars holiday special. The song is so poorly executed, it's actually kind of enjoyable. That and it has a pretty catchy tune. Anyway, Ruber uses a magic potion he acquired from some witches called Acme, no doubt a Warner Brothers gag, and uses it to merge his henchmen with weapons, and as a result, not only do these guys look pretty cool, except maybe that chicken thing voiced by Julia Lightclay called Blaybeak, but we get to take yet another drink for villainous henchmen who have a similar design.
Only one will be revered, worshipped, hated, loved, and feared. I'd just like to say a few words. I, me, mine!
So, as Kaylee manages to escape, the Griffin is revealed to be working for Ruber as he returns and reveals that he lost Excalibur in the forest.
Excalibur is the one thing that can keep me from my conquest of Camelot. No, that's the girl!
I pray you'll be mine.
Hooray! It's time to take a drink for a song whose main purpose is to win an Oscar. You know what? I'm just gonna take a drink for every song in this movie because that's pretty much what I've been doing so far. So yeah, this is obviously the best song in this movie, which is kind of ironic because anybody who knows me knows that I can't stand Celine Dion. Not that she's bad or anything, but I just hate it when she does those long notes, which I will not give an example of just for my own safety. Anyway, Kaylee gets chased into the woods by Ruber's metal men, but is luckily saved by a blind man named Garrett and his falcon Aiden. She tells him that she is looking for Excalibur and convinces Garrett to help her look for it.
Right. We're going after it.
Great!
Not you. Me and Aiden. We work alone.
Well, I see no reason why I can't come along.
Like every tree stands on its own. Reaching for the sky, I stand alone. By myself, I stand alone.
Well, Kaylee, Garrett has just given you a full song explanation of why you can't come with him. How are you going to rebut?
I stand alone too.
Aiden.
Weakest rebuttal ever. Anyway, take a drink for animal/mystical creature psychics as Kara and Garrett come across Devon and Cornwall, a two-headed dragon whose two heads constantly bigger because they can't fly or breathe dragon, which gets them a lot of cheesing among the other dragons. How do they describe their resentment of each other? Through song, of course.
If I didn't have you, I could do a lot of things. I'd be rocking with the dinos, swinging with the rhinos. I'd be dragonized this cave in a minute.
So after that, Ruber and his minions ambush Kaylee and the gang, and Garrett is injured during the attack. Luckily, Kaylee manages to save the gang, the closest thing that she comes to for being a strong female protagonist. Later that night, Kaylee uses some of the forest magic plants, don't ask, to heal Garrett, and the two form a mutual bond, allowing us to not only take a drink for our two main characters falling in love, but also a song about their love for each other.
Here in the night, I see the sun. Here
just took me by surprise, looking through your eyes.
The next morning, the gang finally manages to find Excalibur, which happens to be in... No. If we're going to do this, we are going to do this right. Let's try again. Play the music.
We landed on a beach. I was running from evil cheese. Something came up behind us. It was a rock monster.
That's something you don't see every day.
Get them!
Rock monster.
So Ruber also attempts to get the sword from the rock ogre, but after a series of mishaps, Kaylee and the gang ends up victorious, and Ruber ends up under the ogre's butt. So Kaylee and her friends make it to the outskirts of Camelot, but Garrett decides to return the forest because he'd feel much more comfortable there than in the world of men. But unfortunately, Ruber manages to kidnap Kaylee and take Excalibur, using the Acme potion to merge it with his arm.
Prepare for the journey of pursuing!
So as Devin and Corwell try to convince Garrett to go back to Camelot, Kaylee finds herself bound and gagged in one of Ruber's wagons, which he uses to sneak himself into King Arthur's camel via Kaylee's mom. Luckily, having a change of heart, the chicken thing frees Kaylee and decides to rebel against Ruber. Should I take a drink for minions who turn on the villain? Let me think. Iago, Croc, Hyenas. I'll take a drink anyway. So, after a big battle engages in Camelot against the knights and Ruber's men, Garrett manages to return and help Kaylee. Not only that, but Devin and Cornwall finally manage to fly and breathe fire, allowing them to defeat the Griffin. How is all this possible? Simple. By working together. Who knew? So Ruber, having made it back into the castle, reattempts to seize power from King Arthur, but Kaylee sends Ruber flying out the window as she and Garrett try to defeat him. They do so by tricking Ruber into putting Excalibur back into the stone from which it came from, which somehow causes magical forces to not only disintegrate Ruber into thin air, but also manage to turn everybody back to normal, healing them of their injuries. So, in the end, Kaylee and Garrett are finally knighted, Cornwall and Devin finally learn to get along with each other, and we can finish off the can with the ultimate Disney cliche. A happily ever after ending where all the main characters other than the villain are alive in the end. So that was Quest for Camelot, and I think we can all agree that it's the perfect example of a Disney knockoff. Overall, Quest for Camelot is definitely not the best animated film out there. The story is more predictable than the original, and the characters are nothing new, having the same characters that we've been seeing over and over and over in several other animated films. But despite that, I don't think this is that bad of a film. The animation was pretty nice, the voice actors were well picked, and the songs, although not entirely original, are pretty good. And I have to admit, even though he's not a very well developed character, I'll admit that Ruber is in fact a pretty cool villain. Even though it's not a very great film, I can at least give the filmmakers credit for at least trying. So I'll give this movie 3 stars out of 5. But we're not done yet, people. Overall, we've taken 18 drinks throughout the course of this movie. Let's see what the final consensus is. Congratulations, movie! You've reached, dude, why the hell is Disney not suing? Congratulations! And best of all, I didn't reach my annual sugar crash, so thank you for not giving me a sugar crash.